Residential versus buy-to-let mortgages. Okay, so there seems to be a lot of confusion and a lot of questions on residential mortgages and buy-to-let mortgages. I've had questions like, can I buy a property with a residential mortgage and then flip it? I've had people ask me, can I buy a property on a residential mortgage and then, sell it after a few months? Other people have said, no, you've got to wait 2 years. So there's a lot of confusion going on as to what you can and can't do on a residential mortgage and a buy-to-let mortgage, or any other type of mortgage for that matter. So let's just first of all discuss a residential mortgage. So on a residential mortgage, it is exactly what it says. It's for your residence. So you are going to a lender and you are telling the lender that you want to buy a house to live in as your main residence. They will give you a residential mortgage, which means that you get cheaper interest rates. You can put down a smaller deposit. There are lenders that will let you put down as little as 5% deposit. Okay, so it's very attractive to first-time buyers who don't always have a large deposit. So this is a residential mortgage. Okay, so you, as first-time buyers or second or third-time buyers, it's irrelevant. You go and buy a house to live in as your main residence. You get a residential mortgage on it, and then you are expected to live in that property until you want to move house again. Okay, do the majority of the population make improvements to a house when they move into it? Yes. So let's just say that you're a young couple, you're first-time buyers, and you go and find a house that's a little bit run down, and you're getting it a little bit cheaper, so you buy it on a residential property, residential mortgage. Too many residentials. So you buy on a residential mortgage. Okay. Now, if you're going to put a kitchen in and a bathroom and decorate it, there's nothing wrong in that, okay? That's what everybody who owns a house does. We improve our houses. We want to make our houses, our homes better. So everyone in the country adds value to their house. They improve the home they live in. They decorate it. They put new flooring down. They might have new windows. That's what we do as British people. We buy houses and we want to make our castle, our home better. So we improve it, okay? Then if we decide to sell it a few years later, well, then we've got an increase in value, and there's nothing wrong in that. So can you buy a property on a residential mortgage and do improvements to it? Yes, of course you can. Can you, however, buy a property on a residential mortgage if you're a property investor? No, you can't. It's against the terms of service. It's against the rules of the mortgage, okay? It's there for you to live in, okay? But there's nothing stopping you from buying a property, staying there for a year or two, doing it up, and then finding a property that's a little bit better and moving up the property ladder. That's what we all do, and the next house you buy is a little bit bigger. So in summary, a residential mortgage is for your own home, but there's nothing to stop you from buying a property, moving into it, doing it up while you move in, and then a couple of years later selling it. That's the first thing. Second thing I want to discuss is the time scales, okay? So I've seen people posting on the internet that, oh yeah, you've got to stay there for 2 years, you need to stay there for a year, you need to stay there for 6 months, okay? There are no rules as to how long you stay there, okay? You could buy a property, you could get a job transfer from London to Manchester. So you move to Manchester, you buy a home, and then after 9 months, you decide you don't like it. You don't want to live there anymore, you want to move back home to London. So what you're going to do is sell it, yeah? Do you think the lender's going to say to you, oh, you can't sell it, you've only just bought it 9 months ago? No, they're not going to say that, okay? So people's circumstances change. I'll give you another example. So you go and buy a property, and then 4 or 5 months later, you get a job offer abroad. So you move abroad. You need to sell the property. Yeah, so there are genuine reasons why people need to sell the property. However, if you, with the intention at the beginning, are buying a property to refurb it and then flip it, that's totally against the rules, okay? You can't do that. That's why they have different products in place, like buy-to-let mortgages or bridging finance or a refurb to buy-to-let product, okay? They have products for those in place. That's what you should be using. But just to clarify, there's nothing stopping you moving into your residential home and adding value and doing work to it, and then a couple of years later deciding that you want to move on. Okay. In fact, if you're one of my students, you'll know that there is a strategy that I use where it's 10 steps to become a millionaire. And basically you move 10 times over a period of time and you make £1 million from property. Okay. So no, there's nothing stopping you for your main residence, moving in, adding value, and then a few years later you want to sell it. Okay. But I have to stress, if you're a property investor and you want to do it for profit, for commercial gain, you can't use a residential mortgage. Okay, so I hope that's useful, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video if you found it useful. Comment below what you think, and I'll see you on the next one.